Thanks a lot for staying with us, and you're watching TVC Breakfast. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on Nigerian newspapers. I have joining me here in the studio, public affairs analyst Oladehinde Ariyo. Good morning to you. Welcome.
Good morning. How are you?
Very good to see you here. And joining us from Enugu State via Zoom is PR consultant and public affairs analyst Ambros Igbokwe. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me this morning.
Indeed, delights to have you here as always. Okay, so let's go to check out the newspapers this morning, beginning with The Nation, who is leading with APC primary Buhari aspirants, governors for high-level talks, Osinbajo, Tinubu, Amechi, others for today's parley. Next is The Punch, also leading with the APC presidential primary, and it says Lagos Borno lose jumbo delegates again. Party shifts senatorial poll. Kano, Katsina, Osho, Oyo, Akwa Ibom, 5 others command numerical strength. Reps postpone the resumption over primaries, and President Buhari is billed to meet with aspirants on Wednesday this week. Still the same line Daily Sun is towing. We check that out now. Primaries, it says APC walks tightrope. Under pressure to adjust timetable, postpone screening of presidential aspirants indefinitely, awaits Buhari's proposed meeting with governors and others. Let's see The Guardian, still on 2023 presidency, APC to screen prune number of aspirants. Fayemi says that only 5 aspirants are serious, and some other riders are there. Leadership is next. APC presidential flag bearer, and it says that Ogbonnaya Onu may be Buhari's dark horse. To the Nigerian Tribune now, PDP NAS primaries, that's the lead story there. Tom Banki W, Ango Abdullahi's son, Tegbe Ned Woko La win. Sons of Fayose and Kashemu also emerge among the winners at the primaries that held on Monday. Vanguard is next. Electoral Act, governors lament fear inability to control delegates. Aspirants shun consensus, devise fresh strategies to woo delegates to be housed, shielded from opponents, and driven to venue on the day. So many stories to ponder on in the papers this morning. Let's see how other papers are leading with this morning. Looking at blueprints now. So says Adamu, none assent to amended electoral act, not ploy to elongate President Buhari's tenure. So that's about the Electoral Act now. To the Daily Trust now, IPOP kills woman, 4 kids, 6 other northerners in Anambra. They're killing us every day. That's according to Hausa community leader. Another writer there says Northern Group blames hate campaign by regional agitators. Let's go to This Nigeria. It's also following the development in Anambra State, especially the killing of lawmaker Okoye, beheaded. Actually, Governor Soludo is said to have declared a war on agitators and withdraws amnesty to gunmen. First News is next. 36 governors lose battle to wrest LG funds management from FG as court dismisses financial autonomy suit for lack of merit. Nigerian News Direct is next, also on the loss of the 36 governors at the suit in Abuja. Of course, 36 governors lose suits to FG on local government's financial autonomy. NFIU to report all transactions on LG's joint accounts to ICPC, EFCC says Tukur. National economy now, more Nigerians fall into poverty as GDP grows by 3.11%. Despite GDP figures, double-digit inflation puts pressure on income as prices of goods, services keep rising. Also, every 100 naira earned in Nigeria is short by 16.82% in value. That's according to an economist. Still talking the economy. On Business Day this morning, it says telcos weigh strain as 50% or 5%, I beg your pardon, airtime tax starts in June. All right, so that's how the papers are reporting, talking about their big stories. I want us to focus on the situation in Anambra State, gentlemen. Beginning in the studio here, Mr. Ariyo, what are your thoughts? The killing of the lawmaker a few days ago, incidentally, that killing of that lawmaker, the lawmaker was even the one representing the constituency of Governor Soludo. What are your thoughts on this? What is happening in Anambra?
It seems like the journey has finally walked out of the bottle, because it's a situation where the governor, since he was sworn in, has been making every effort to ensure that there is peace and sanity in the state, and of course security. But following every move is a disaster. We now wake up to read more, killings everywhere. The way they killed lawmaker was so, I don't have the word to even describe it, because they cut the man's head, took away his body, and then went somewhere to hang the head. I don't understand. What are we trying to score? What dividend are we expecting to realize, with all of these murders? I got a lot more interested when Otakunyili was wasted. And then if you saw the video, the way he was struggling with his last breath to at least get up, and he could not. All of these things, they end up dehumanizing us, the living, so much that my friend lost his father in a village in Anambra State. We couldn't go for the burial. He himself, he didn't go for the burial, because he wasn't sure that if he should go, he would come back alive. Now, the papers easily said IPOB, and I found that tasteless. I would have expected them to allow security to investigate and establish, the priority of what they're saying. You don't just tag IPOB. Sometimes they will say unknown gunmen, they will say ESN. No, we're not helping matters. And I'm also going to be appealing now to the elders in the Southeast. But I mean elders, I mean the governors, political leaders.
In that region?
In the region now. Religious leaders as well. Then, of course, community leaders, OBs, AZs, and people with voice. They should gather, have a meeting, and take a decision with strategies on the way out of this mess. Anambra, Southeast is a very active part of Nigerian economy. With all of this killing, it's not looking good at all.
Right.
And my fear now is, when will this end? Well, they can arrange a meeting where they all meet, let people come and express their challenges or their issues, and then they can go and meet the president, okay, along with their senators and everybody. Go and meet with him, make a presentation. And like I said some few weeks ago, if Kanu can be released, we will have started the conversation towards peace in the Southeast.
Okay, so let me compare or hear from you, Mr. Igbokwe. So Anambra State, yet another, series of attacks. And not only the lawmaker, his aide was also, brutally murdered in such a manner. And now we are hearing of yet another killing attributed, so they say now, to IPOB. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, the Igbo traditional rulers have been trying. The Igbo elders have been trying. I remember the 82-year-old Bazulike even going almost 90-year-old Bazulike going to Aso Rock to plead. The political leaders are supposed to be there. Haneze Igbo have been trying to say, let's find a political solution to this first. And then, as Ariyo said, let's come together, discuss these issues, and then find a political solution, because everything is not going to end in the might of boots on ground. When we discuss politically, a lot of these kind of issues have been resolved politically. So the Southeast elders have been trying over the years, but the president has always insisted that let the courts go through the process. But we know that political solution can be found. And as Ariyo said, if we can get Nnamdi Kanu released through political negotiations and political assurances from the elders in the Southeast to the federal government, then perhaps we can now start looking at him making pronouncements to his followers, and then hearing directly from him will help to assuage a lot of these agitations.
Right,
And
Mr. Igbokwe, let me interrupt, but I'm still with you. You both are canvassing now somewhat for a political solution, but is there much of a bargaining chip right now, especially as you look at the tone of this killings, of this kind of violence? Is there really much for the FG, in all honesty, to negotiate with?
Well, all over the world, if you study the history of agitations, even the history of conflicts and the history of wars, it is clear that after you war, you always end up at the conference table. You always end up at the discussion table. So that you cannot take away negotiations. You cannot take away discussions. You cannot take away political solutions, because at the end of the day, all conflicts, all disagreements, all agitations will still end up in the discussion table. So the approach here is, why not explore that job before going war? There we can now start saying where we can now say iron out the differences, where are the areas of agreement, and where are the areas that need to be ironed out. And then each person can now say, okay, we give this. It's a give and take situation. And then, because then we can create lasting peace. The essence of any society is to have peace. And whatever that is necessary for us to have peace cannot be discarded. Peace is the ultimate, because if you experience peace, you will have economic growth, you will have political stability, you will have social progress. And that is the essence of peace in any society.
All right, so Mr. Igbokwe, I'll put you on hold. Let me also hear from Mr. Ariyo here. Governor Soludo himself has been reported to say that the deal is off. The deal of amnesty is off. These are crimes we're talking about. Here. These are heinous crimes, not only on the Anambra citizens, but even northerners,
everybody.
Yes, no one seems to be left out. No tribe seems to be left out here. So, what do you make of this?
Somebody this morning was telling me that the people killing are infiltrators, and I said into the southeast, and I said, as far as I'm concerned, I don't care whether they are from heaven or Siberia. All I want is peace in the southeast. Okay, so whatever we have to do to ensure peace. Now the governor was moving around, appealing here and there. Even Pastor Kumi had to postpone or cancel.
Well, for now.
Yes, the retreat he planned for the southeast. It was that bad. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to start laying blames now. We have left the stage of laying blames. It doesn't end us any dividend. So let's just look at how to solve the problem. And like he said, it's not a novel thing when we say let's apply political solution.
But have you concluded, when I check your analysis now, do you seem to be convinced as to the motive of these series of crimes?
That was why I called for a meeting where minds can be expressed. Whoever is wounded anywhere, let them talk. At that point, let them, okay, what do you want, right? If it's not going to be possible, they know from that point. Because even with the declare a full-scale war, as he said again, we will all come back to the table to talk. So why not avoid going to war? A living example is the Ukraine-Russian crisis. Each time I look at the situation of Ukraine, it pains. Why? Because what is being destroyed in a fleet of a second took years to put together. So it will now take more years now to rebuild that community. We mustn't allow this to happen in the southeast. It's bad enough. They cannot deny that IPOB has followership. Okay? When they said Monday should be work-free day, all the governors tried their best to make it not to happen, or either out of fear or coercion. People obeyed, and this has done incalculable damage to the economy of the southeast. So every right-thinking person should be concerned with how do we solve this problem. It's not about punishing anybody. It's not about looking for a victor or the vanquished. No. Let's just bring peace back to the southeast.
So Mr. Igbokwe, are you saying now, or what do you make of Governor Soludo's, will I say, cancellation now of his offer of amnesty at this time as the situation, continues, hoping for a way to end it. He has, of course, also, offered a substantial amount as reward to anyone who can offer credible information that will arrest the criminals. 10 million naira, indeed.
Well, all over the world, I want to go back to what I said earlier. All over the world, there are processes for conflict management. There's what to call conflict mappings and conflict architecture. You study the situation. You look for what is the root cause analysis of this. And then at the stage we are, what is the root cause? And are we really, just like Ariyo, are we really sat down to engage? Then, what I advocate now is that, can we get what we call a mediator, a negotiator? It could be an international mediator. It could be a national mediator. It could be somebody who is trusted. I remember leading to the amnesty for the Niger Delta people. I remember that they nominated, I think it was Professor Oladehinde, to mediate on their behalf, if I'm not mistaken. So we could, as a people, during the discussion, we could say, okay, can we appoint a mediator to mediate between the agitators and the federal government? And then this mediator, it could be international person if a local person is not. So the mediator has to be agreed upon by both sides, to somebody they can trust. And then let these people start to ferret the argument, start to listen to the agitation, try to listen to the point of view for the federal government, try to listen to the point of view of the agitators, and then try to find a common front. When we do caucuses, you do plenary with them, then you come together. And then in Nigeria here, we also have an institute for that, Institute of Chartered Mediators. Federal government can approach these institutes too and see how they can do this conflict mapping and see how they can phantom a solution. Because at the end of the day, no matter what we do, if the peace does not reign, the government cannot progress. The people will live in fear, and there will be all kinds of turmoil in the land. And all the Nigerian citizens want is a peaceful atmosphere to go about his normal business, to look for daily survival, to lay his head and to walk around the street without looking over his shoulder. That is the peace and security that a citizen wants to enjoy on his daily lives. Every other thing is semantics. Every other thing is infantile to the citizen. So whatever it will take for the leaders to ensure that this peace reigns has to be employed. And there are already structured approaches to this thing. One of them is to get a mediator. Okay. And this is the advocacy I'm giving this morning.
Mr. Igbokwe, all right.
And ensure that
we're running out of time, Mr. Igbokwe. I want to get a final point now from Mr. Ariyo here in the studio. The police have said, well, this has gone beyond a freedom fight, while not belaboring the points that you both have made. But then the police also talked about the conspiracy of silence among residents that it hopes will be curbed so that everyone can, work with security agencies and the government in ending this menace.
When you say the statement by the police talking of a culture of silence is an unfair statement on the people. They have no protector now. The government is not able to protect them, and then the killers too are not protecting them. So now, what do you want them to say? In what way are they empowered to play any functional role in all of this? They are victims. They are the ones being killed. Don't forget that. Now, I sympathize with Governor Soludo because from outside, he had the thinking process, putting in place that, okay, if I become governor, I'll do this, I'll do that. We will get here. Unfortunately, he seems to have exhausted his game plan and strategies, and is frustrated. So he now said, look, no more amnesty, we're going to go. No, it shouldn't go that far. All of them, both the aggrieved and the government and the citizens, are all joint stakeholders in Southeast. So the earlier they all work together, the best. And again, as I said, other nationalities too can get involved and appeal to the president, because he kept saying they should allow the process to go through judicial review. No, because he doesn't have to go through this process, please.
Okay, all right.
The killings are going on every day. Ordinary police are getting burned, police are getting burned. Are we making progress? No.
Gentlemen, let us rest the discussion at this point. I thank you, Oladehinde, Ariyo, and of course, Ambros Igbokwe, for your insights on TVC Breakfast newspaper review segment. Many thanks once again.